We're here to promote cnsupdates.com, which is a website for medical professionals interested in neurology. Our latest masterclasses focuses on narcolepsy and restless leg syndrome. The courses are being presented as a virtual masterclass featuring leading specialists from around the world.
Yes, my name is Colin. I'm Director of the Mental Health Research Institute in Melbourne, part of the Florence Institute of Neuroscience and Mental Health, and it's at the University of Melbourne. We work on the cause of Alzheimer's disease, which is the progressive accumulation of A-beta amyloid in the brain, and we've been working on this for more than 30 years. So we were amongst the first to discover the biochemical nature of the amyloid as it accumulates in the brain, in the plaques. So this is our drug target. We've been working for 30 years, and we're now moved from the basic laboratory work into the clinic. We've always been interested in the nature of neurodegenerative diseases. We want to understand the causes, and we want to develop therapies. So you have to understand the natural history of the disease, you have to be able to diagnose it at a very early stage, and then you have to develop drugs to intervene. My talk is all about the natural history of Alzheimer's disease as we uncovered it and studying its progression from very preclinical stages right through to the clinical stage. And we've now discovered that it takes approximately 2 decades from the time that you pass being abnormal to fully blown Alzheimer's disease. 20 years is how long it takes. So that's what I'm talking about on Saturday. The other talk that I was going to give has now been cancelled, but I'll still tell you about it. So our therapeutic strategies for intervening in Alzheimer's disease are targeting the amyloid in the brain itself. So we have a class of compounds which are aimed at inhibiting the oligomerization of A-beta in the brain. And we're now in clinical drug trials to prove the concept that it's possible to intervene at a very early stage. There are many different companies working in this area, and each of them has a different class of compound to inhibit the production of A-beta. Some of them are inhibitors against the gamma secretase, and some of them are inhibitors of beta secretase. The gamma secretases are being trialed in phase 3 studies, and most of the compounds that have made it through to phase 3 are in fact very toxic. And so it looks very unlikely that a very usable form of a gamma inhibitor will come to market at this stage. This may happen in the near future. The inhibitors for the beta secretases have got a much better profile. So we're hoping that the big companies, the big pharma, that are developing the base 1 inhibitors, beta secretase inhibitors, have got a better chance of coming forward. The question is wrong because only one of the 2 studies failed. The one study that failed was the bapineuzumab, which is sponsored by J&J and other affiliates, and it failed because the antibody bapineuzumab was toxic. It caused major upsets in the brain. The second trial, which was the study conducted by Lilly, succeeded. So they had a positive result where they showed a 30 to 35% slowing of the cognition in mild cases of Alzheimer's disease. And so I would say that this success has been very encouraging to the field, because what it means is that some antibodies are likely to have a beneficial effect. And their study only went for 18 months, and they were seeing the most beneficial effects towards the end of that study. And so I believe that if they'd continued for 2 years or maybe even 3 years, the amount of benefit would have increased. So they are now going to go back and do another phase 3 study for hopefully at a very early stage of Alzheimer's disease. So our own interests are in a drug that attacks the oligomers of A-beta directly, and we expect to get results on that towards the end of this year or early next year. So preliminary data from an earlier study looks encouraging. That was a 3-month study, and now we're going to a 12-month study, so hopefully we'll get some significant results there. But many companies around the world are all exploring this space, not only directed at A-beta, but many other targets in the brain. So I'm very optimistic that some of them will succeed. Well, we've met many old friends that we know from over the years, and it's always good to catch up with the latest gossip and also the latest scientific advances in the field. And so as we move through the Congress and the conference, much scientific data is being generated and being exposed, and a lot of debate and a lot of excitement.